This is part 3 in our series of running the bridges. Part 3 for running the bridges, Jacksonville, Florida. Here's another placard I thought I would show you. Wood into ships. It's located between the Main Street Bridge, the blue one, and the white one, which is the Acosta Bridge. Both of those are running bridges, which I will be doing. I'm doing now. I've come down from the YMCA back over by I-95. And I've been running. I'm taking a little break, and I'll read this history plaque to you. Early explorers to northeast Florida saw endless supplies of timber and opportunity in its plentiful forest. Lumber, as a single most valuable resource of shipbuilding, was the chief reason that the French and Spanish fought each other to gain control of this land. With its abundance of hard and soft-wooded trees, the region became a chief supplier of timber to the fleets of the world. The native woods were superb for shipbuilding. Oak was most valued for hulls. Resinous pine proved superior for the decks of merchant ships and for the gun decks of war vessels. Cypress was preferred for the masts and smaller structures. The Spaniards began to build ships in Florida in the late 1700s. It was a poorly controlled, highly informal enterprise. Legend speaks of pirates and smugglers who built boats in the secluded creeks of northeast Florida, especially near Fernandina Beach. During the 1820s and early 1830s, poachers brought in by out-of-state shipbuilders harvested most of the timber from forests that grew on public lands. Poaching was so flagrant, in fact, that federal legislation was passed and armed forces were called into action to halt the thievery. It wasn't until most of the land was sold or granted to private owners that real control was established. However, on to the other side. This one has to do with the port of Jacksonville, 1884. Despite poor forestry control, Jacksonville developed into thriving, there's a group of runners that just came by, into thriving lumber town in the 1830s. Sawmills lined the banks of the St. Johns River. Logs harvested from interior forest were brought to the water by oxen and tram roads, then floated on huge rafts, some of them a quarter-mile long, downriver to the mills. Powered by water and later by steam, Jacksonville's sawmills produced billions of board feet of lumber that found their way around the globe in ships of many nations. Millions of gallons of tar, resin, turpentine, valuable byproducts of the wood also came from Jacksonville. Jacksonville merchants prospered by furnishing tools and other supplies to the thriving industry. The town itself became a product of the forests as citizens constructed wooden houses, hotels, and stores, board sidewalks, and plank roads. By the late 1870s, shipyards along the St. Johns River built small boats, steamers, tugs, ferries, and an occasional rum runner, gun runner, or blockade runner. By 1930, Jacksonville was recognized as the lumber capital of the South, handling enough timber every year to build an 8-foot wide boardwalk around the world at the equator. Eventually, steel replaced wood as the primary material for shipbuilding, but Jacksonville continued shipbuilding as a major industry throughout both world wars. More than 120 Liberty ships, tankers, wooden minesweepers, patrol and torpedo boats were built here during World War II. Today, the shipyards still produce vessels, but much activity centers around repairs and refitting. Important byproducts of Florida's wood are still used in making such universally essential commodities as paper, paint, soap, and printer's ink. As a plaque designated that they were building a lot of Liberty ships during World War II. As a small fact, my family came in from Georgia, moved down here to work on the Liberty ships and to work in the box factories. Box factories were from pulpwood, and that's how they came to Jacksonville. And two sides of the family, the Dean side and the Morgan side, came here for jobs.